Okay, and I think we are live. Let's just check here. Um, Gotta make sure I can hear myself. Okay, yes, cool. I can hear myself. Um, and yeah, so welcome to another live video sequence editor testing for the what do you call the um Blender 5.2 beta. It is actually out in beta now. Almost. We got less than a month for the LTS full stable release to come out. Let me just put my big head down here. If we go to our um, gosh, I always forget. Is it blog? And then we can look at the development updates. Um, So let's see, module meetings, weekly development updates. Let's see what we have here. Um, so this is what's going on now. I don't know how much they're going to actually talk about the release date, but we've got, if we go to docs and then release notes, um, we've got 5.2 LTS. You can kind of see some information up here about just the general information. But if you do 5.2, here we go. So it's currently in beta until July 8th. So less than a month. And then July 8th, we'll have the, if we just click the schedule, this is where I wanted to go at the beginning. There we go. Here's your schedule. July 8th is the release candidate, and then any sort of emergency bug fixes they'll fix in a week, and then the release is the July 14th. So very close. I am using today's build of 5.2 beta, and we will just, this is going to be interesting because we have the World Cup going on at the very same time, and it's a Germany game. Germany, who's playing? Germany? Ivory Coast in Africa. So we've got Germany, Ivory Coast World Cup game going on right now. So I don't actually know how many um, live streamers, or not live streamers. I'm doing the live stream. Live stream followers are going to be today. So we don't have too much today. I know it says compositing and transitions, but we're probably not going to get into too much. I wanted to extend from something that I did last time that I was trying to test out last time, and that is, okay, come on, window, let's go. There we go. Oh, can you not see that? Hold on. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong thing. Yes, no, you can see it. Okay, so this is my test for a transition that I was trying to do last time with the wipe, but adding this little white line here that it will wipe between them, because without that, it's just it is just, let's see if I hide that. It just looks like this. So it's just one video wiping over another video. And by the way, this is footage from my recent trip, our recent trip to, well, I'm not going to say the place, just the countryside. And we stayed in a little cozy place. And so this is just a transition from a little pond here, and then down here is the fire pit, and then this is later that night on the fire pit. And so just transition from there to there, and then with this little line kind of in between, I like that. And then you can even change the color of that line to be whatever you want in real time, and then that works like this. So that's what we're gonna start with, and then we will perhaps get into this one here, which is kind of the same thing. It's the wipe, but we're doing it the clock way. You have to do it slightly different. slightly differently, but we're going to try this one first. So essentially, this is what it is. I'm going to go ahead and delete the video, and well, let's just start from scratch here. Actually, I'm going to do that. I'm going to add in a new. I'll do copy settings for a new scene. Then we got to select that scene down here as well, and we'll just say live stream. There we go. And let's see here. Why don't I have my... Let's try this. Where? Oh, I don't want that. Over there. There we go. This, and I want this like this. Still trying to get used to this live stream setup here. So we're going to test it out just on a couple of color strips. So just add in a color strip, duplicate that out with Shift D, and the second color strip I'm going to just change to just anything. I don't know. I like a nice blue color. And to transition from one to the other, we're just using the VSE transitions right now, the built-in ones. So I select the first color, and then shift select the second color, go to add, and then transition, and we could do either crossfade, gamma crossfade, or wipe. So crossfade looks like this. It's just a simple crossfade. If the colors aren't matching, meaning if it is flipped like this, if it starts out with a full color of blue and then fades to black, then you just need to come over here and switch those two like that. So that's how that works. Same thing, select, shift select, and then transition for the wipe. And then this is the default wipe that goes from top to bottom. You can change in and out, so then it will change direction there. You can also add in a blur width to blur that, just like that. You can change the angle, so it a little bit more interesting there. But I'm going to keep everything here at the defaults for now. Oh yeah, and then you can change to a double, so it kind of comes in like that. Or you can do an iris, change direction like that, or a clock, which we'll get to the clock later. So single, everything is going to be the defaults, just going to wipe down like this. The first thing I'm going to do is take the first color, the black color here, and go to the strip properties tab, scroll down, and we're going to do the scale at 0, so then we don't see it at all. And then that gives us a transparent background. And so what happens here is now if I take this color, duplicate it down below, just take it, put it across here like this, and then change that color to something else, like an orange, lovely. We'll do yellow. So now what I have is I have the yellow color underneath everything, and then the wipe on top, and then it will wipe down like this. Now this, you see this little glitch here, and I just noticed this. What we're going to have to do here, if we're doing it like this, then there's a little bug where the very first frame is transparent. It doesn't matter, and all of these are alpha over, but for some reason it's not recognizing what's beneath it. And even if I change this, you can see it recognizes everything beneath it until that first frame there of the wipe. So we can do a couple different things. First of all, we could just take this color and take this color, duplicate this, and then if we wanted to just switch from yellow to blue, we just do the same thing we just did. Add in a wipe. I'm doing Shift A, by the way. You can come up here to add, or Shift A will have that same menu. And so now we have that wipe over like that. The problem with this though is we won't be able to put that middle line, that white line in the background, or in between those two if we do it like this. So that's why we're doing it like this. However, if we do it like this and we just have this color underneath, we run into this issue where this frame is it's just blank. So what you have to do is go one frame over, at least one frame over. I would just say one frame over. Make a cut for your color and then bring that on top, because that is going to be your first few frames anyway. So this is going to be transitioning from the yellow into the blue. And so we can bypass that by doing it like this. Now, the reason I'm doing it like this is because let's say the yellow is a video, which we'll get to in a second. The yellow is a video, so we want to cut it to where both the end of this and the beginning of this match. So there's no jump in the video. So this is how you do it. And so that's a little hack to get around that. So why do all of this? Well, because if we bring this down a little bit and duplicate this down, we can change this color to a complete white. And by doing that, we can just click this and then take the hue and saturation and pull those down, the value all the way up. That will make that white. And if I hide the ones above it here, you can see that's what it is. So now we have essentially the white being over the yellow. And so the white is going to be in between the blue and the yellow. So we can put it like this here. And what we see, if you look at layers, the highest channel layer is the topmost layer on our canvas here, our preview. So right now we are seeing white because this is the topmost that's visible. If I unhide this, then now we see the blue. So it goes blue, white, yellow, as they're stacked beneath, as they're stacked on top of each other. So, hey, Uri, good to see you again. So now we have this little, so now we have the sandwich thing here. So let's go ahead and unhide everything. But the white and the blue wipe are the same exact size and timing, so we don't see them. So all we have to do is take the wipe and grab it on the Y and move it down just a little bit, however long we want. Now I'm gonna uncheck this snapping because it gets a little bit hard to make like a small line. So I'm just bringing that down, and actually I'm going to undo that so you can see if I turn on my overlays, you can see if I press G and then Y, it's just going up and down. So I'm bringing that whole thing down. Okay, and you can make it as thick or thin as you want. I'm just going to put it right there. And because all we're doing is bringing it down, the wipe is still going to wipe the same way. It's just with a bit of an offset. So now we have something that looks like this. And let's turn those overlays back off again. So now we've got from yellow to blue with that white transition. Now, what I can do is change the color. I think yellow is meh right now. Let's try something else. Let's do, I don't know. I want to do another kind of darker color, just so that white pops out. Now we still have the yellow over here, so just make sure we come over here, press Control C to copy that, and then select this one, Control V to paste that. So now we have then we can see that white a little bit better there. So that is the theory behind this here. So essentially the thickness of that line, if you select the wipe down here and you go to your strip properties and you scroll down, it's your Y position. So you can use this right here to be a lot more accurate if you actually can just go per pixel. So it's like, okay, I want negative 15 pixels. That's what this looks like. And you can even do animation if you wanted to. So if you wanted to make it, you can just keyframe it here, make it grow or shrink or whatever. So now with two colors like this, you really don't need this. I mean, because you can see the transition there. But I found that with video, it's a bit hard to see. So for example, if I well, let's change. I'm going to change this one back to full white here. Nope, just okay. 0. No, come on. All three. 0 and white. Okay. And then I'm just going to hide that. This is fine because I'm going from a very light video to a very dark video, so you wouldn't really even need it there. Again, unless you want to make it look, I think it looks a little bit more professional with this on there like that. But sometimes if you're going from one light scene to another light scene, you might want to have a divider like this. So essentially I did it exactly the same way. This time also with audio. So we have the audio from one to from the audio to the other, like this. And I think you should be able to hear it. Yeah. So I just offset this a little bit here like that. So let me I mean, yeah, it's really the same exact thing. So this video is like this, and remember we had to go one frame afterwards, make that cut. So essentially it's supposed to be this video, and then this video wipes down over it. So if we didn't have this little glitch here, then we wouldn't have to move this video up, but we do. So we got to cut it here, move it up and over one frame to for a little hack so that it doesn't flicker. And then we have this wipe, which just wipes down over like that, because these two colors right here, these two black colors, have the scale of 0. So you don't see them, so it's transparent. And that's just from the color to the video, so you don't do that with the audio. But you do have to remember, you have to have enough video. Remember the video offset. I'm just going to duplicate this. If we turn on our offsets here, you have to have enough video out here to cover that wipe, this offset here. So if you don't, it's just going to be a still frame for that whole wipe, that whole transition. So essentially, you have to take the starting frame and pull it back so you have enough offset here. For remember the container and the contents. That we talked about that last time. So having said that, I'll turn those off because that gets really messy. And then same thing here. We have the offset with the audio, and so originally when I made my cut, it looked like this, but I purposely took this audio since it was transitioning to that. I purposely took that audio. I want the full frames here, and then there's some really weird sound here I think I made with my hand. Yeah, so I cut it past that. Otherwise, I probably would have kept it all the way over here, but I don't like that. So I just took it and to right past that. So now we're transitioning from this audio, which is the daytime audio still, to the nighttime audio. And actually, technically, I could right here take this, add in a fade from current frame, and then that fades the daytime out, and then we get the full audio. So that's maybe a little bit cleaner. And so you can do all of that if I hide this, or actually, yeah, without the middle part. But with the middle part, all you have to do is duplicate this top part down to make this. Then you change your color to white. Well, you wouldn't duplicate the video here. You just make two colors. Anyway, we did it already. So, and then take this wipe and then go to your Y position and bring that down. Let's just do a -15 like we did before. Just easier that way. And now we have that wipe with the -15 offset like that with the video. So it looks a little bit complicated, and it kind of is in order to achieve what we're trying to do here. But we could take, let's do, yeah, let's do this. I'm just picking in kind of an arbitrary frame here to put that white color here, because it doesn't even need to go any further, but this is just for visual. And then we could cut this and then put this into all this here into a meta strip. Control G, not M, I don't want that. There we go. And then this is maybe a little bit more tidy. And so we can bring these down like this. There we go. And I don't even know if, let's see, I'm going to undo that. I don't even know if I need to make a cut there. I'm curious. Can I, it may not work if I just put, these into a meta strip. I don't know. Will that work? No, because it needs the video. Yeah, it's automatically including this video in that. Probably also this color, because the transitions, the VSE transitions don't exist by themselves. They exist with two inputs. So, okay. So that is just a simple wipe down. And again, if you wanted to do it the other way, you would take the wipe and you would go to in and then out, and then we'd change those to, or from out to in, like that. But then we'd have to change the offset. So then it would be positive. So I'd go probably just +15 like this. And then it's now it's doing a little wipe up just like that. Okay, so that is how you do that. The second way is if we wanted to make this wipe like this little clock. And I think this is what came, the idea that I had for this, it came from this particular one, because I was trying to transition from two videos that were very similar looking. I think it was just like tutorial videos. They were similar looking, and it would wipe, and you couldn't really tell that a clock wipe was happening unless you had this middle, line. And this you have to do a little differently. You need the compositor for this one. And so this is what this would look like. Essentially, you have your top, just a regular iris wipe, and then the bottom also a regular iris wipe. But we have to make the offset, we have to actually do our dilate erode node, which we did last time, I think, or a couple times ago, where if you have an image, you can take the alpha of that image, like the Blender logo, for example, and kind of dilate it out, so it looks like you have an outline. Essentially, we're doing the same thing. So this is like the wipe outline. And so this is the setup. And I think Yurai helped me with this as well back then. So I'm just going to hide these here on top. Actually, I'm not going to hide them, so you can see what's happening. So if I just hide these, nope, mute, M to mute. I'm actually going to not do it here. I'll do it here. So here's the compositor. So on this wipe, I have a compositor modifier. I'm just going to disable it here in the preview. So right now, it's wiping the same exact way as the blue. The blue and the white are wiping the same exact way. And the blue, since the blue is on top, it's overlaid on top of that, and we cannot see it on our canvas here. We can only see it if we either hide that top one, or we do a little bit of an offset. So the first thing is to add the dilate erode node, and I'm just going to get rid of this and we'll plug this one right back in. Dilate erode, and then we can mess with this. I like to do distance, and it's not gonna work. Okay, so something. Oh, it's because. Okay, here we go. The compositor, it has to be. We have to enable it. Okay, so now we can do our dilate erode, but we want to go positive. So the same thing, 15 pixels, like that. And the issue with this is, first of all, this works because we're already only working with a completely white and black image, or technically a white and a white and transparent image. So if you're using a color on this, we have to use a color ramp here, but that might be, I might explain that in a little bit. But right now, because we're only using pure black and pure white, it works just fine. Once we plug this in here, though, it does show that pure black and pure white. There's no transparency. So that's why we then have to, this is thanks to Yurai last time, or a couple times ago, we just have to add in a set alpha. And then the mask goes into the alpha, just like that. And then we have this. And if we mute this with M, you can see the difference here, how it moves back and forth. And if we unhide this now, same thing. If we mute that, we can put that line right in there. And this is because it's going in a clockwise motion, we can't just move it from side to side or up and down, because we'd have to animate it, and that's too much work. And I don't even know if we could animate it correctly. But see, this is nice. And the reason I put it on distance is because it gives the best result on the edges here and in the middle. You can play around with that. If you do steps, you can see it kind of cuts it off here. And then as it goes along, also, it kind of cuts it off up here. So I was just kind of looking to see how each of these look. So threshold looks like that. That might even be better. And distance. And then we have feather, but we don't really want it to feather unless you want it to feather. But I don't really want it to feather. So either threshold or distance seems to be pretty good. We'll keep it here. Okay, and so then what you would do is put your footage underneath it, or your different color. So let's do, just duplicate one of these colors, put it underneath, make this, I don't know, a green. Let's do a darker green. Like this. And we have this. Of course, we have our little one blank frame here, so we have to do our cut like before and pull that up. Come on. There we go. Like this. By the way, I know the colors are atrocious here, but it is what it is. I just want to show you that. So you'd have to, it's the same thing with this, but then this color, it wouldn't be a color, it would be your video. So you would actually have to use the video in the wipe transition. The other video that's beneath it can just be a video that's beneath it, and then of course cut it to accommodate for this blank frame. And that's how you would do a little wipe from one to the other. I could try to quickly just copy these two here, and we can paste those here. And just do this here like this. So instead of having the wipe like this, I want to go do the clock, just like that. Okay, and then we can take our wipe clock, which we've already done here, like this. Match, oh, this is where I want to turn my snapping back on. Match the size of that wipe there. And then unhide it. Of course, this also has to do a clock motion there, just like that. This one is being done in an offset. Well, I don't even know why that shouldn't be that like that, right? This shouldn't be in an offset. Yeah, this should be. I don't know what happened there. That's weird. Okay. But this should actually have the our little which one does this have? If I go to my oh, I see, because we're on the I was like, why is this okay. Okay. This we're gonna copy this. And then we need to go to, I think it was it practice 3? No, practice 2. Yeah. Okay, this is the one I was looking for. Okay, paste it here. Okay, so this is the one we wanted to copy. By the way, I forgot to show you the entire thing here. So this wipe, basically you have to go to your strip modifiers, add modifier compositor, and then either create a new one or choose from the drop down. You can see I've created a couple of different ones, but new one, dilate, and then you can add in your dilate and set alpha nodes. But since this one already has it, now I can duplicate that over here and do the same thing. We're gonna put that here. Let's change this. Oh, no, there we go. So that's good. Cool. So we have to pull this out. Let's go to that frame first. Okay, and then pull this out like this. Cut that, grab that, and pull that down like this. There we go. So now we've got our iris wipe with our little divider line that we can change the color on the fly if we wanted to. Actually, I'm sorry, we can't. We can't do it here. There was a way that we could do it. Yura, you might have to help me here again. I wonder if trying to utilize the erode would make the lines a bit cleaner opposed to the dilate. Okay, so I was maybe, but you have to do a little bit more setup. Let's see, like instead of growing the outside to make the outline, shrink inwards to make space. You and I think very similarly. That's why you see that there is already I've already made an erode one, and I was practicing with it earlier today, and it was a lot more complicated, and I've had to restart Blender several times because it got really confused. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to show the simplest way, because you're already working with a white and black transition wipe thing here. And so having it erode or having it dilate a little bit is actually easier in this, and only takes 2 nodes here. If we wanted to do it the other way, we could. I'm just going to get rid of the dilate here. And then we can add in a compositor node here and choose the erode. But you see, so this is what you'd have to do. This is what I, at least looking at these nodes, again, I'm not a node expert, but it's a little bit more involved, but it can be done. And I even put the size, which you can do with the dilate as well, because the node is dilate and erode. It just depends on if you're going negative or positive. So positive obviously is dilate, erode is negative, and then you can adjust that here. And I actually pulled this out. This is nice with the it's like geometry nodes. You can pull this out into the group input, and then you have it here, so you don't even have to touch the nodes after you have your nodes set up. You can actually adjust it here. So you can see it's eroding away like this to make that middle line. What I didn't like about this is it kind of, you can see in the middle here, and that also maybe has to do with the steps. But once I started changing this from, like, I'm going to save it here, steps to like threshold and distance, that's when it started to freak out on me. And you can see it now, it's also starting to freak out a little bit. Distance, we'll try distance. Okay, distance works a little bit better. Yeah, that would work. This would work really well. And then in this case, you could then change the color really easily of the one behind it, because you're not using it as a mask essentially. So now I can change the color to whatever I want on the fly, and then it would work. However, I've had to restart Blender. It didn't crash Blender, but what it did was the entire compositor modifier got stuck on like 1 frame, and even it wouldn't even animate the wipe anymore. And I refreshed the strips, I refreshed the scene, I did everything I could. I even saved it and then did open recent, and then click the most recent one, which usually gets rid of all of the stuff if there's any sort of glitches or hangups. It didn't even work then, so I had to completely X out of Blender and then turn it back on. So yeah, so that is why I didn't go this route. But if I didn't do this one, and we did the route of I might need your help again, Yurai, with this. If I went with the dilate here, like we did before, I know I think I'd probably have to have like a I don't know, multiply it. Would I multiply it with an RGB color? That's how I'm thinking about it, right? Because if I set an image in here, that's not, it's going to use an image as an alpha, and I don't want that. So I'm thinking, let's just hide these for now. So yeah, if I put this in here like this, I don't know. Is that actually working? See, that doesn't look. Oh, well, I'm on threshold. Maybe if I do distance. Okay. Um, yeah, I'm trying to color the outline with the dilate one that we were using. Um, so, but actually, I should probably put this back to white, right? First. Yeah, so I mean, I guess I would just do a color, mixed color here, and then just multiply it with a color. Or do I have to do it this one? Multiply it with a color. I don't know how to do it. Sometimes I get really confused when it comes to this. Wait, do you have the compositor modifier on both transition strips? No. Um, uh, for the dilate, I only have it on the white. For the erode, I would have it on the top one, the video one. So you can see here nothing on the top, and then if I put it on the bottom, then I have the dilate. No, it's okay. I understand, and I'm probably not explaining things all that clearly anyway. Um, but I'm trying to like it. Don't doesn't that work if I multiply a white color, which this would be the white color, right? Yeah. With another color, it would just be that other color, wouldn't it? I thought white was like, yeah, it should look like this. But it doesn't. Because when I unhide this, it's just this I guess the size isn't working very well right now. See, I it's not doing. Oh yeah, and so okay, see now it's starting to glitch again, and it that actually might be it. I mean, just might be glitching again. So let me. I'm going to uh, we're gonna reload Blender again completely. Okay, yep, that did not work. So you're using the dilate node right now. Yeah, that's what I. So I know how to change the color using the erode because then you can just change the underlying color. But if you use the dilate one, you have to don't you have to like multiply it with another color? It should be working to my understanding. Yeah, right? That's what I'm saying too. But once we add this on the top, this should be working too. But for some reason it's not actually listening to the dilate. Let's do steps. Okay, hold on. Okay, it will go to it will erode here, but it won't push past it. It won't dilate, which is weird. So it does it here, but once we apply it to because I'm using the image as a mask. There we go. Okay, let's try that. There we go. That's why. There we go. Um So then I'm okay. Now we're cooking here. So if I do this, I can actually pull out the size here. Let's go back to distance. Oh, that's I just screwed everything up again. Yep. So okay, see, this is what it was doing before. Yeah. Okay. Save it. Relaunch it. Okay, that distance is not working. Threshold? Threshold working? Nope. So this one is going to have to just be steps then. Nope, it's still it's still not working. Threshold? Yeah, no. Yes, no. Maybe so. Save. It may just have to be steps on this one. Okay, threshold is working. Okay. Yeah, I like the threshold better. So distance is not working for some reason. It really glitches out with the distance. Okay, so on threshold with size, we can bring the size and we can bring the color out like this. And then we don't have to worry about the compositor anymore. We have the size, which we can put down to 15. We have the color that we can change here right on the fly. Just like that. That's what I'm looking for. And that's with the dilate one. But I think here, you know, for the aesthetics, I think good old white is going to actually just do us pretty good. Like that. Okay, what? Yeah, I feel dumb now. Of course it has to be white because it's a mask. Um, yeah, well that was I don't think that was the issue. I think the issue was I just had cuz it was white, but I had that plugged in the image which for some reason didn't work. You would think it would work because the image itself is just white, right? Uh, hide that. Yeah. So you would think that that would work. So even if that was plugged into the image, but it didn't work like that. So um and now oh yeah, we gotta unhide this. There we go. So that's a little compositing and the little bit of the transitions here. I was hoping to kind of try to test out some things for the um, like an actual transition from the compositor, but I don't really know. I'd have to go, and we can do this, and this may be the last thing that we'll do. By the way, I always forget. Shout out to my moderator because she is suffering. Apparently, is Germany not doing good? I guess Germany's not doing good in the World Cup for this game. Um, so say, but you can make a new input in the modifier for color and input and just plug that into the image of the set alpha node to control the color of the outline. Can you just try deleting the mix node and plug the B in to that image input just to see what happens? Can you try just deleting the mix node and plug the B into that image? What? Oh, plugging the B. Oh, I see what you're saying. Like plugging the B into the image and just deleting this. Okay. Oh, hey, look at that. Wow. Okay, that makes it a lot cleaner. But I wouldn't even thought of that because the only way you can get this is by plugging it straight away from the mix node. And then it generates this. I would have thought this would have disappeared if I had unplugged it. Interesting. Huh. Yeah, that works. Yeah. Woohoo. That's actually really interesting technique now. Where if you need something on the outside here, you have to generate it by using a node, but then once you have it, then you can delete that and plug that. Yeah. Interesting. You can make it manually in Compositor, press N. Okay. Oh, right here you mean? Oh, you're right. And then just do like a new item, input. That's your socket, and I can just change this to color, right? Okay. And then if I plug that color in here, then I can change the color like that. Okay. Yeah, that works too. Learning, we're learning. So I want to do. Let's just try a different kind of transition. Um, Other than using the VSE transitions, like just let's do completely from a compositing standpoint. So let's go back to the live stream. Um, let's try. Just take, I guess, take a couple of these colors and duplicate them over here. Um, for a transition, I suppose what we could do is just the compositor effect, right? This is what we would use for our transition. Um, and then on this, we'd do. I guess we could do our dilate here, right? But that wouldn't have any effect of anything. But we could say new here, and then we have input 1 and input 2. Okay, so this is something I'm going to have to look up on the Blender docs again. Because what we want docs, release notes, 5.2, video sequencer. Yeah, so something like this to transition between one and the other. So I guess I'm just going to copy this. So I'm going to start backwards. So add in a mix node. Mix color. Here we go. So input 1 and input 2. And then, of course, you have the factor here like this. So between the two. Effect fader goes into the factor, of course. So then that shows the transition. I need to flip these though. So like that. And then, what was the, how do I, okay, then we have a less than. Well, let's do image coordinates, snap. So we do image coordinates. Then we do a snap. Oh, it's a vector snap. Snap, vector math, snap. And then we do a white noise texture and then a math texture, or white noise texture, and a math node set to what? Less than. Okay, so then we plug in image 1, and then we do, oh, this is for pixel, so then we get a pixel, and we got 32, 32, and 1. So I guess just do 32 and, oh, no, 32, 1, 2D, value. Okay, and then that goes here. And then the value comes out over here like this. And now it should pixelate into that, yes. So this is how you could just use the compositor for a transition. So then how I would transition the transition from the colors to the videos. Again, I just take these two videos here. Let's just take the videos. I don't want the audio. Just take the video, copy. Let's go to here and paste them. Let's get rid of that. Oh, got to go for a minute or so. Back, you pixelate transition, nice. Yeah, well, that wasn't me. I just completely copied this. This is from the 5.2 sequencer release notes. It's this picture here. So I verbatim just copied it. So now that we have this going pixelated from one color to another, I'm going to take this color or this video and pixelate it into the next video. So same thing, select, shift select. And I think I have to select them backwards actually, because I have to switch it anyway usually when I go in there, and I don't know why. So compositor, add the compositor on there. So and now on this compositor, all I have to do is select our, I didn't name it anything. This will be, we'll say pixelate. So select the pixelate and it should just work automatically, and it does. And again, if I selected it wrong, or I need to change the different selection, then like if it's like this, that's the wrong direction. Just click that button, should switch them, refresh, and then you have a pixelate. I'm curious what normalized, if I just plug in normalize, what does that do? Refresh. Absolutely nothing. What about uniform? Also, oh, well, it kind of tries to do something. And then here, I guess the increment, if we plug the pixel back in, increments probably, yeah, you can change the size of that, the pixelation there. And of course, interestingly enough, we can bring that out, and we can actually rename this from increment to pixel size. And now we have that out. We don't have that out here because we're using the compositor. See, this is where it gets confusing, because now I have an input, but I have there's nowhere to access the input because I'm not using the compositor modifier. I'm using the compositor strip effect, and it only has a, it only has a set number of things here. So I don't know if they've thought about that. It won't work because the values from normalized go from 0 to 1. You'd have to multiply it first by using some larger number, like 500 or something. Oh, for the normalized one? Okay. Yeah, see, this is where my lack of like math knowledge really shines because I don't know. I would be so much better at trying to make different effects with nodes if I knew like math calculations and stuff. I know the basics, like, addition and multiplication, but I don't know any of this like uh I don't know any of the relations. Like you have the like sine and cosine and all of that stuff you can do here too. Square root, absolute component, exponent, things like that. Arc sine, arc cosine. If I knew like what each of those did and what I can like expect the outcome to be, I could use it so much more freely to make some cool stuff happen. But um, yeah, I don't. Um, and then I know this time, and see, I don't understand why. So okay, if I were to do something like this without the compositor modifier, I would just want to like have an overlay. Okay, either an overlay to where it's on top, and then I select this one. Let's do a new node. Let's do pixelate 2. Actually, I'm going to undo that. I'm just going to select pixelate and then, oh no, crap, I can't do that. Okay, I am gonna do, what is this one? Okay, we'll say pixelate 2. I want to copy all of these and paste them here. Okay, let's see. I don't even know what this is gonna show, because I'm not mixing anything. Yeah, that's not gonna work. Yeah, I don't know how I would do this without mixing them together. Like there's a time one. I think this was with 5.1. Let me go back there. So if I go to Blender 5.1, the release notes here. This one. So this one is where you have an animation that extends the length here, and it's using a time curve. And you have the ellipse mask, and you mix it with, I guess, the regular image. So, and using the start and the end frame. So maybe if I do this and plug that into, okay, how would I do that? Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to be able to figure that out right now. Okay. Let's see what your has to say. It's just basics mostly. Difference between mostly knowing just what kind of data is output by what. Yeah, well, I don't know that, so Let's see what else. You can control left click on nodes to instantly plug them in to the viewer node. Yeah, oh yeah, I know. Yeah, I've been doing that. Control shift actually. You can do that here like this. Try doing it on the coordinates node and then just holding left click on different parts of the image to inspect. Oh, I see. Control left click on to inspect. Yeah. The values. Okay. So wait, which coordinates do we want? The pixelate coordinates? Yeah, I don't know. But all I'm saying is that this is just one. It's one strip, and if you could do an animation like this with just like a black and white mask, so to speak, then you can just do the transition just with that one strip, and that's a lot more versatile, where you don't have to have two strips that are tied to each other with a transition strip, because I don't actually like that. So for example, this is easiest illustrated with a fade. So I could fade in with the color here. So from black to white, I could fade in by actually having a transition, a crossfade. So transition crossfade like this, and it fades in. But the thing is, I can't move this crossfade around. I can move it up and down, but I can't move it side to side. And the length depends on these here. So if I move any of these, and this gets tricky when you're trying to move a whole bunch of strips, and then also if you're in like meta strips, and you try to change like the frames per second, that really throws things off. So if you're just doing simple crossfades and you don't have to like change between time code speeds and everything, it's fine. But I would rather do the transition like this, where only on one strip I'm fading from full opacity to full transparency. So from here, add in a fade from current frame. That way it's only on one strip, and it doesn't matter. Like now the frames per second time code and whatever, it doesn't matter. And I can put these in a meta strip just fine, move them around, and nothing gets squeezed or adjusted. They kind of stay where they're supposed to. Okay, absolute gives you sorry, just a second here. Try inspecting each of them to see the difference. I might do that later, probably not now though. Absolute gives you the number of each pixel as you would count them. Normalized is giving you each pixel a value from 0 to 1 gradually from the center of the image. Okay, yeah. Kind of difficult just to put in words. Yeah, again, and you don't have to. Like, all I'm trying to do is try to figure out how to apply this kind of effect on just one strip so that I can just overlay that one strip and it will pixelate out into transparency, essentially. And then I don't have to use this compositor effect strip, because again, I can plug things in to this group input, but there's nowhere that I know that I can access this group input. I don't see anywhere that I can access it unless I also put the compositor modifier, on the compositor modifier. And then I have this pixel size here, but it's grayed out. This doesn't do anything. So if I could only put the effect or the transition on one strip, then I can have these being plugged in like this. Here, let's just unmute those again. I could plug in the size, this increment in the size, and have this be, where did that go? Oh, that's the Pixelate 2 that I got rid of from here. Oh, well, yeah, this is okay. Yeah, so I don't know how to do all of this yet. I would really like to learn kind of how to do that, but this is how you would start to do all these cool transitions within your sequencer. And once you make them, then you could even come up here and add modifier unassigned, and you can just choose, which one do you want, right away. It's very simple once you get it, I promise. Well, I hope I get it one of these days. Yeah, I'm not sure why they don't make the compositor strip expose new inputs. Yeah, that's kind of right, exactly, because then it would be a lot, more straightforward. Then I could come out here and choose the increments and make that bigger or smaller. Here. Oh wait, hold on. Nope. So if I do that though, I have no idea. I have no idea, and I don't have time to figure it out now. But that's about it. We're just showing a little bit of tips and tricks on how to do some transitions, some very basic transitions. I'll try to see if I can learn a few more like compositor only transitions, and then start to build on it from there for next time, or maybe not next time, but one of these days. I was also surprised about this recently. It's kind of somewhat defeats the purpose. It does, yeah. So I don't know if they thought about that. I actually haven't followed up a lot from their is that not using the right one? Pixelate. That's using the right one. Oh, see, it might be doing this thing now where it's actually just hanging on the. Okay, yeah. And so I'd have to change it directly from here. See, that still works, but they'll have to figure that out. But I don't know what the priority is on that. So, well, it's been fun again, and we're at an hour and 15 minutes. Man, that just flew by. So I'm gonna end here. We're gonna let our moderator go finish watching the game in peace, and maybe with sound. So yeah, let's we'll see about next Saturday. I don't know. I keep like planning these at the last second. I like to try to do 2:00 in the afternoon Central Time on Saturdays. I think that's a good time, but sometimes it has to be later. So we'll see. But yeah, no problem. Thanks for coming along again. And I always learn a lot. And we're gonna have to have you on the stream sometime. Maybe we can try that next week. I don't know what you get going on next week, but maybe we can coordinate you being a guest on the show, on the live show, and then we can knock around some ideas together with putting these nodes together for good good transitions. All right. Well, as always, happy blending, and you will see me in the next one. Over and out, and gonna stop probably mid-sentence